Hey everybody, how's it going? This is going to be a drive along, ride along video, a GoPro thing from the eastern outskirts of Bakersfield up to Tehachapi in the pickup, and narrating a little here and there, or maybe a lot. Some of you probably, I know a lot of you people don't like listening to me talk so much, but maybe that's just train videos. But anyway, I enjoy doing these, telling you where things are. And probably going to do them. I'm going to do them all the time, but don't want to get you burnt out on them. But yeah, I was going back and looking through some of the right-of-way drives that I did early on my channel when I still just had the gimbal I had to hold. And those weren't very good. They moved around a lot. And the GoPro gives you a much better feel for what those roads are like. And I've had quite a few of the subscribers that I've had come out and that I've taken around, shown around the Tehachapi, who are pretty amazed at the way you get around and how you get to some of these places and the roads that, I'm not gonna say the condition of the roads, but steep hills up and down, but it's fun, nothing dangerous, and people seem to enjoy it. So here we go with a Bakersfield to Tehachapi video. All right. Here are the URLs to my PayPal and my Patreon. You can help the channel out that way. I'd sure appreciate it. And remember to keep shooting me the ideas. Drop in the comments below. Shoot me an email at motopoet59@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe. Click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content. We'll see you all later. All right. Well, I am headed to the Tehachapi Depot Museum today. It's Friday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. And I thought, oh, you can't see, nice beautiful rainbow off to the left. They're almost behind us. You can't see it though. But yeah, we got some rain a little bit yesterday and some last night. Looks like maybe quite a bit last night. I don't know, I was asleep. But I decided I'd do a little GoPro for you guys going up the back road. I didn't shoot the video leaving my house and coming out here because I was on the freeway and it's boring. But I got off at Tower Line Road there, and I'm now headed east on what was, at one time, Highway 466. It was renumbered Highway 58 in 1964, but this part of Highway 58 had already been bypassed by the freeway by the time that renumbering was done. And coming up here on the left is the Sandcut crossover and Neuralia Road, which goes to the dump, which over the last few months, dealing with my dad's stuff, I've unfortunately had the opportunity to be out here about 12 or 13 times hauling crap out of his house. Those of you that saw my video the last time I used my drone, the day it crashed into these trees off here to the right, which were still just barely had, let's see, no, I'm sorry, it was these ones, these little bitty ones. The drone was uncontrollable, crashed into a tree. Uh-oh, wreck up there on the dump road. But yeah, that's where that little derailment was that day. One of the hopper cars derailed. Got a train sitting here at Bena. And this is the reason that whole area is called Sandcut, because of this cut through these sand hills. These are actually called the Sievert Hills, and the name of the location up there long before the crossovers were built, it was called Sievert, and they actually had a spur there where they would put helpers on. Now, right up here at the bottom of where the hill comes down, I'll show you where that was. There was a spur track the switch was right up here by these intermediate signals, and it came back this way towards us, and it was the Bina helper spur. And up until the end of manned helpers, which was in the 90s, in the mid 90s, they kept helpers on that spur, and that's where the trains would stop, break apart, put the helpers on, and then go up to Tehachapi, break the helpers off at Summit, and run them back down the hill. I have not been out much. I came out last week to shoot some video of the bridge replacement right up here, where you'll see where we'll go across. But they were doing nothing either day that was worth filming anyway. And that day there were a lot of trains, and you'll see that video that I ended up just shooting a bunch of trains that day. It'll be one of my long videos. But they're not generally stopping trains for this. There's a Form B, and again, it looks like there's absolutely no one here. This is what it was the last time I came out here. There's a truck on the other side of the tracks. But yeah, they're going to replace, this is where Caliente Creek goes under Bina Road, which is what this is called now. But yeah, there's nobody here. No, by golly, I'm lying. There are some people here, but it doesn't appear. That is the crane and the pile driver, but they are not doing anything. Oh, that's a security guy. So yeah, they're just out here making sure people won't vandalize or steal things. There is the Bina hot box, formerly the high-wide detector. All the equipment is still there, but as you saw in my video sometime back, Union Pacific has removed from service all of their high-wide detectors across their system. I thought that was a good idea from the company standpoint. Those are essentially to keep trains from stuffing loads into tunnels, but in my whole career, we never stuffed a train into a tunnel. So those things would stop trains if there was a flapping piece of paper or plastic or a piece of lumber sticking out just a little bit too far. It would, stuff that wouldn't hit a tunnel, but it would stop trains. Every time the ones up Tehachapi, every time it snowed, they would malfunction. They were prone to lots of problems, stopping trains unnecessarily and creating lots of delays. And even if they were to stuff a train in a tunnel now, it would probably cost them less to get that taken care of than it has cost them in train delays over the years. This is a cool place right here to the left. This is where Caliente Creek crosses under just above. I've shot videos from here before. Illman is up around the corner to the left there, up around the curve. That's Caliente Creek there. That's a cool place back there to stop and shoot trains, if you just want to watch. In this day and age, I have to watch what I say. I shouldn't say to shoot trains, to take videos of trains, or to take pictures of trains. You never know what AI is going to misinterpret or take out of context. This is a really nice road on the Harley. Crappy things about this is people will bring stuff out here and dump it. Rather than some of this stuff you have to pay if you take it into the dump. Most things are free, but if you have certain types of things, they make you pay, and instead of doing that, people will just come out here and dump it, and that sickens me. I recently built a new back fence, and when I hauled all the wood to the dump of my fence, it cost me about depending on how much I had, cost me between 15 and 25 bucks a load. And I'm not going to say I happily paid it, but that's what you do. I could not imagine bringing stuff out here and just dumping it off to save 20 bucks. Some people are just pieces of trash, even bigger pieces of trash than the trash that they're dumping alongside the road. weather's been kind of unsettled this week. Weather was nice Monday and Tuesday. I played in a golf tournament Tuesday. It was breezy but nice. It was supposed to rain Wednesday, but it never did. It was supposed to really rain hard yesterday on Thursday, but it didn't. It rained, but where I lived anyway, we didn't get much rain. And it's supposed to rain a little bit today, which it has. See, the roads are still wet. It was raining as I was on the freeway a little bit. Cattle country. That is the Tejon Ranch over on the other side of that. I don't know if those cattle are Tejon cattle. Tejon leases a lot of their land to local ranchers. No, I did not hit that squirrel. He stopped and turned around. Before the freeway was built, this was the way you went to Tehachapi, and I could not imagine having to go up this road following trucks in the old days. Those things were not very powerful, and I'm sure they were just crawling up these hills. It must have been really frustrating to get behind trucks on this road back in those days. I was going to go down Caliente Bodfish Road into Caliente, but rock falls there. But I'm running a little behind, so I'm just going to head up Keene, grab a bite. If you turn left here on this road, that is Caliente Bodfish Road. That goes down to Caliente, continues across the tracks at the Horseshoe Curve, goes up County Creek Canyon. The road splits. You stay to the left, go up over the Lions Trail. Goes up over the mountains, down through Havilah and into Bodfish, Lake Isabella. Thus, Caliente Bodfish Road. If you stay to the right when the road splits up the canyon, that's Walker Basin Road. That goes up into Walker Basin. Twin Oaks, Walker Basin, comes around, and you still end up, makes a big loop, and you still end up coming back around to Caliente Bodfish Road. To the Lions Trail. Starting to green up. I haven't been up to Tehachapi. I've been beyond Sandcut or Bena in a couple of weeks. I've been busy doing other things. And there's the freeway right below us there. That is White Wolf Valley. And right there you can see the American flag at half staff. It's hard to see probably in this because it's a ways. That's the Bakersfield National Cemetery. Beautiful place. I have a video about that where I did a tour of that. Go back and search my channel for Bakersfield National Cemetery. Pretty cool video, I think. And the Bealville crossover is off to the left over there. I don't see any trains there. And this takes us on to Highway 223, which if you turn right here, you'll go down to Arvin. And this is just freeway access here. Back on Highway 58 East. never understand why some people just drive, and it's not the fast lane, it's the passing lane. You're only supposed to be in this lane technically if you're going to pass somebody. But yeah, some people just decide to drive in this lane all the time. Turn left there. That is Bealville, Caliente, Bealville Road. That road goes down to Caliente and Bealville. Bealville's about 1 mile. Caliente's about 2 miles. Sometimes when you get up in this area, staying in the passing lane is not a bad idea, because you're gonna have to move around a lot getting around these trucks. We're at an area now down from Bealville. The tracks go away from the freeway down, I should say, by the Bealville crossover. You can't see the tracks again until you get to Rowan, and up toward the east end of Rowan, toward the Tehachapi end. And right off to the left here, there's a dirt road there. That was the entrance to what they called Burma Road. You could access Tunnel 8. East of Tunnel 8, you could go down across the top of Tunnel 7. You could access between 7 and 8, as well as the east end of Cliff and the middle of Cliff. But they have locked that gate and put K-rail and concrete blocks on both sides of it to keep the thieves, because they were just, that goes on to, I believe that's the Cummings Ranch that actually goes on to, and they were just cutting the chains and the locks off of that, going down in there and stealing things. No, I thought my camera quit working. I looked up and didn't see the light on. So yeah, get us some grub here at the Keene store. Holy cats, it's jumping, I tell you, it's jumping. Go around to the back side. Wow, it's jumping back here too. All right, I'm just gonna stop right here. All right, let's go get some grub, see what happens. All right, well, we have chowed down at the Keene Cafe. My buddy Mike McCarthy is in there. Talked to him, met a guy. His last name's Maynard. I think said his first name was Ken. I don't know. I can't remember. Terrible with names. Till I've been around somebody a few times, I really stink at remembering their names. But I remember his last name was Maynard. Nice guy. And I've known Mike McCarthy for a long time, a very long time, probably 40 years now. Good guy. Went to school with his sister and knew his dad. Good family. Right up here to the left is the Chavez National Monument. Used to be the Stony Brook Retreat, and I don't know if you were able to see it, but off to the left there on the side of that hill is where the number one water plug was when they used to water trains up here. All eastbound freights took on water at Woodford without exception, and some passenger trains. But Stony Brook Retreat was a tuberculosis sanatorium. And right here coming up on the right, it's hard to, the sun's probably really glary now, but right here, this foundation was the number 2 water plug. These were all gravity fed. The pipe went down, went under the road, under the tracks, and up into the plug, so they didn't have to use pumps to do any of it. Right up here in front of us there, that was where the number 3 water plug was. And there was a 4th water plug further up towards the east end, where the east end used to be. They've extended the siding. The east end didn't used to be where it is now, but there are no remnants, no traces of that water tank foundation anymore. And this is Woodford Tehachapi Road. This was never the freeway. Highway 466 was built, I believe, in the 20s or in the late 20s or early 30s. It was obviously a 2-lane road to begin with, and widened to 4 lanes, and eventually became Highway 58. This road was pretty much followed the original wagon trail that went from Tehachapi down to Keene and then on down into Bakersfield. And although this road did exist before Highway 466, it was never a heavily trafficked road by vehicle. It's like, oh, there's a track gang working there picking up ties. There's another one down at East Woodford. Another fun road on the Harley. Back in the 80s, when I first started really driving up and down this road at work and in my own car at times, when I still lived up in Tehachapi, there was hardly anyone on this road. Just probably 90% of the vehicles that you saw on this road were railroad vehicles. And then in the late 80s, they started building homes up here, and right off, so now there's a lot of traffic. Right off to the left, here's the Tehachapi Loop. And this road that splits off here, this dirt road off to the left, is the access to the loop. The Loop Ranch is no longer, as you've heard me say in quite a few videos, has been sold to a nature conservancy. They own all that now. Now, I said this is a fun road on the Harley. After the rains quit, it won't be a fun road for a while because it washes all this dirt and loose rock and stuff will come out on the road, so it can be pretty sketchy. Doesn't look too bad so far, but yeah, it's something you really have to watch out for when you're riding a motorcycle up or down this road, especially up the road, because that's where most of the embankments are going to be alongside the road is coming up. Historic marker for the Tehachapi Loop, and there is the Tehachapi Loop overlook. See a train down there on the loop manifest. It is a Union Pacific manifest, but yeah, the overlook for the loop there. You used to have to kind of stand out in the road to watch trains go by or to look at the monuments, but the Depot Museum funded, and here comes another train. Oh, that's the same one. Right here is Kurt Quinn's Quintessentials Rail Fanning Bed and Breakfast place. I will be meeting some rail fans. They're going to be staying there this weekend. I'm going to go up Sunday, meet with them, take them on a little tour. It looks like the weather's going to be okay. Might still be muddy in some places, so probably won't be able to take them to some of the areas, but looking forward to that. Kurt Quinn is a really cool guy. His place is really cool, standing right up above the loop on Burton's Curve. This little turnout here to the left is a really cool place. Pull over and watch trains. They're a couple hundred feet down below you there, but you have a good view. Right off to the left there, probably can't see it, there's a caboose there. That is Les Combs' place. Les built that caboose himself. He is a master craftsman, and he has a very detailed in-scale layout in there. of the railroad from Tehachapi, or from Bakersfield to Monolith. And that road right back there that we just went by is Lower Marcel Road. It accesses some of the homes that are built back in the 80s. A couple named Cecil and Janet Doyle opened a radio controlled car racetrack down there, off-road racetrack, and me and my buddy Mark Sr. used to go down there and race our RC cars, and in 1985 I was the track champion there. Over the years I've kept thinking that I might get back into RC car racing, but I've just never done it. Just got too many other irons in the fire, I guess. But I sure had fun doing it back then. This area out here is where most of the homes that have been built out here since the 80s, and they're on good sized pieces of property, so there's no overdevelopment. But yeah, when I first came up here in the 80s, there were 0 homes out here. No one lived out here. All right, this is the Tehachapi Valley. This area is called Golden Hills, and up until the I don't know, the early 80s, before they actually started, maybe the mid 80s actually, before they actually started building many houses out here. Off to the right over here is where my buddy Mark Sr. lived when we first moved out here, and his was the only house on to the right here on the west side of the road. And then there was a house on the other side of the road. None of these roads were here. That road wasn't here. And then right here off to the right was the left was the Vandermaiden place, and it was the only place out here on that side of the road. Yeah, off to the left right here, it's a place that's been here since the early 1900s, I'm told. None of this stuff was here. The golf course, the back 9 of the golf course is off here to the right. The lake here was actually a lake you could go, it was man-made, but you could go out there and go fishing, rent boats. There was a pony ring over there. Boise Cascade was developing all this. Right here to the left is where the country club and pro shop were. This motel was built in the early 70s, somewhere like that. The front 9 of the golf course is over here to the left. The road you see going up the hill there didn't used to go straight up the hill. It did some curves around there to gain that elevation. And this big ranch looking place here to the right is where we lived when we moved up here in 1969. It was the Golden Hills Equestrian Center. They hired my mom and dad to run that. Dad was a farrier, a horseshoer at the time. Gonna come up. All right, this road didn't exist until, it must have been the late 90s. It was not here when I moved away at the end of 93. I think this is called Red Apple Road or something like that. And this is Tucker Road. If you get off the 202 exit off of Highway 58, this is where you'll end up. And this wasn't here when I moved away. Tucker Road was still a 2-lane road that went down, made a sharp curve to the left, to the right, and intersected with Tehachapi Boulevard, which made a big long curve out behind where these buildings over here are, and went up to the freeway that way. So a lot of people complained, a lot of Tehachapaites, when they were going to build, for talking about building the Walmart, and they built the Home Depot, and as someone who lived here when there was nothing here, I would have welcomed that. When I lived here, there were the local grocery stores, which had poor selections and were very expensive. This was such an inconvenient place to live. There was nothing up here. They built the Jack in the Box and the Taco Bell, and those were the only two fast food places. And I don't like Jack in the Box or Taco Bell, I never have. They pissed and moaned. This building off to the right here was the Kmart. They complained about that, but I thought it was great. You know, gave people in Tehachapi the opportunity to have a good selection with decent prices. People say, oh, it ruined the mom and pop stores. No, I didn't see it that way. Those places never progressed, and even though sometimes I still get annoyed at the fact that Tehachapi has become as big as it's become and as touristy and artsy-fartsy as it is today, it's no longer an inconvenient place to live, and people should be happy about that. You know, we had the people who would come up here from Los Angeles or wherever, and then once they got here, they didn't want any more growth. They wanted to come up here and close the gate behind them, and that always annoyed me. Most of the people I knew who grew up here while I did felt the same way. Let's get some convenience up here. Burger spot. Might go have me a corn dog this afternoon when I'm done. Probably the only actual iconic place still on Tehachapi Boulevard. People will say that Conan's here to the left is iconic. It is not iconic. I think it opened in 2005. It was the Mettler and Armstrong apple packing shed. They are. I'll park over here. But since it's not tourist day, we'll park right in front of the Depot Museum, which is right here to the right. All right. Little cruise from Bakersfield to Tehachapi. Do some depot duty.